Did you seriously expect me to acknowledge you in front of them? Isabella stood in our kitchen doorway, arms crossed, looking at me like I was something she'd found stuck to her shoe. Behind her, through the living room archway, I could hear her friends laughing about something. Probably me. I asked you to pass the salt, I said quietly. 3 times. And I didn't hear you. Move on. That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement that she'd deliberately ignored her husband of 6 years while her friends smirked into their wine glasses. This wasn't the first time. It was just the first time I'd called her out on it. I'm 40 years old. I've built a decent life as an architect, owned half of this house in Portland, and thought I had a solid marriage. Past tense on that last one. When did I become invisible, Isabella? She rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. They're my friends. I'm allowed to have friends. I'm not talking about you having friends. I'm talking about you acting like I don't exist when they're around. Oh my God. She turned to leave. I'm not doing this right now. Then when? Because this has been happening for 3 months. She paused, her back still to me. Maybe if you were more. I don't know. Interesting when they're here, I wouldn't have to compensate for your awkwardness. The words hit like a slap. She disappeared back into the living room, and I heard her tell her friends something that made them all laugh again. Louder this time. I stood there in the kitchen, holding a dish towel, wondering when exactly my wife had started despising me. It started small, like these things always do. Isabella had always had a tight group of friends. Chiara, Valentina, and Francesca. They'd known each other since college. One of those unbreakable bonds forged during late-night study sessions and questionable life choices. When we got married, I thought I'd eventually become part of the extended circle. I was wrong. The first year of marriage, they tolerated me. Polite smiles, brief conversations, the occasional inclusion in group dinners. Year 2, I became background noise. By year 3, I'd apparently become furniture. But the last 3 months had been different. It wasn't just passive dismissal anymore. It was active. Girls' nights at our house went from twice a month to twice a week. Isabella would text me around 4 in the afternoon. The girls are coming over. Order yourself something. Not, we should order pizza for everyone. Not, want to grab dinner out so we have the place. Just, remove yourself. I'd come home from work to find them sprawled across our living room. Wine bottles open, music playing. Isabella wouldn't even look up. I'd walk past, say hello. Silence. Like I hadn't spoken. Like I wasn't there. Hey babe, how was your day? I tried once. Chiara was mid-sentence about some guy from her gym. She didn't pause. Isabella didn't acknowledge me. I stood there for a solid 10 seconds before walking to the bedroom. At first, I made excuses. They're just caught up in conversation. They didn't hear me. I'm overthinking. But then I started testing it. I'd walk through wearing bright colors. Nothing. I'd clear my throat. Silence. I'd intentionally drop something in the kitchen to make noise. Valentina glanced over once, then looked away like I was the cleaning service. The dinner party was the breaking point. Isabella had insisted on hosting. I'd spent my Saturday cleaning the house, setting up the dining room, even cooking the appetizers she'd requested. Her friends arrived at 7. For 2 hours, I was a ghost. I sat at my own dining room table while they talked across me, through me, around me. I tried to add to the conversation. Actually, I read something about that. Francesca would just start talking louder, cutting me off mid-sentence. Isabella would smile at her, encouraging it. I asked Isabella to pass the salt. She was sitting right next to the shaker. She didn't move, didn't even blink. Isabella, could you pass the salt? Valentina laughed at something on her phone. Babe, the salt. Chiara refilled Isabella's wine glass, and they clinked glasses like I hadn't spoken. I reached across the table myself, grabbed it, and that's when Francesca said, "Oh, it moved by itself. Must be a ghost." They all laughed, including my wife. That night, after they left, I asked Isabella what the hell had just happened. You're imagining things. I asked you for salt 3 times. I was talking to Chiara. Don't be so needy. Needy? I was sitting at the table. I was right there. Exactly. You were there. That's the problem. I stared at her. What does that mean? It means. She sighed, like explaining basic concepts to a child. When my friends are here, it's our time. You hovering around makes it weird. Hovering? I live here, Isabella. And they're my guests. Just give us space. I was eating dinner. Then eat faster and leave. I don't know what you want me to say. What I wanted her to say was that she was sorry, that she saw how disrespectful it was, that she still valued me as her husband. Instead, she went to bed, and I slept on the couch. The next morning, I went to my brother's place. Dante's been married to his wife Giovanna for 12 years. They have 3 kids, and the kind of relationship I thought Isabella and I would have. She what? Giovanna's eyes went wide when I told her. They're freezing me out. Completely. Dante shook his head. That's not normal, man. I know it's not normal. I'm asking what I should do about it. Giovanna leaned forward. Have you told her how serious this is? Sat her down, no distractions, and said this is hurting you. She doesn't care. She told me I'm being dramatic. Then you need to make a choice, Dante said. Either you accept being invisible in your own home, or you don't. There's no third option where she just respects me again. Not if she doesn't think she's doing anything wrong. I drove home thinking about that. About how somewhere along the way, Isabella had decided I wasn't worth acknowledging, and how her friends had not only supported that decision but actively participated in it. When I got home, she was on the phone with Chiara, laughing. I walked past. She didn't look up. Hey, I said. Nothing. Isabella. She held up one finger. Wait. Like I was interrupting something important. I stood there for a full minute. She kept talking, kept laughing, kept pretending I wasn't standing 3 feet away. So I left, went to my home office, closed the door, and started thinking about what invisible really meant. If I was invisible, I couldn't be seen. If I couldn't be seen, I didn't exist. If I didn't exist, then neither did my half of the mortgage, my half of the bills, my half of this marriage. I spent the next week documenting everything. Isabella had girls' night on Tuesday. I came home, said hello to everyone, filmed myself on my phone doing it. Not a single person responded. Isabella looked directly at me and kept talking. Thursday, I asked her about dinner plans. She was texting Valentina. Didn't respond. I asked again. Nothing. I set my phone on the counter, recording. Asked a third time. She finally looked up. What? I asked about dinner. I'm ordering with the girls later. Figure it out yourself. They're coming over again? Yes. Problem. It's Thursday. That's 4 times this week. And it's my house too. Right? Our house. Where I also live. She went back to her phone. Don't start. I didn't start. I just kept recording. Kept documenting. Every dismissal. Every eye roll. Every moment where I existed in space, but not in her world. Saturday morning, I found a group chat notification on Isabella's iPad. She'd left it on the kitchen counter. I wasn't trying to snoop, but it was open and my name was right there. Chiara, is he going to be there tonight? Isabella, unfortunately. But we'll just do what we always do. Francesca, ignore him into the furniture? Face with tears of joy. Valentina, I swear he gets more pathetic every time. Just hovering around like a lost puppy. Isabella, I know. It's embarrassing. But he'll get the hint eventually. Chiara, or you could just tell him to leave when we're there. Isabella, I've tried. He gets all sensitive about it. Whatever. We'll just keep treating him like he's invisible. Eventually he'll stop trying. Francesca, group decision then? Total invisibility protocol? Face with tears of joy. Isabella, absolutely. I took screenshots. Every single message. Then I set the iPad down exactly where I'd found it and went to the garage. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, reading those messages over and over. Group decision. They'd made a group decision to erase me. My wife had not only agreed, but actively participated. Found it funny. That night, I didn't go home. I texted Isabella that I was staying at Dante's. She didn't respond. Dante opened a beer and slid it across his kitchen table. What are you going to do? I'm done. Done. They want me invisible? I'll be invisible. Giovanna came in from putting the kids to bed. What does that mean? I showed them the screenshots. Giovanna's hand went to her mouth. Oh my God, she hates you. Dante said flatly. I'm sorry, man, but that's hate. I know. So what's the plan? I took a long drink. I'm going to give them exactly what they asked for. Monday morning, I called in sick to work. I called 3 moving companies. Got quotes. Picked the one that could come Wednesday. Tuesday, I opened a new bank account. Transferred exactly half of our joint savings. Contacted a divorce attorney. Filed paperwork. Isabella had girls' night Tuesday. I came home at 11, after they'd left. She was in bed, scrolling through her phone. Where were you? She asked, not looking up. Around. Whatever. Chiara's birthday is Friday. We're doing dinner here. Okay. She glanced at me. That's it. No complaints about how often they're here. Nope. Huh. She went back to her phone. Good. I slept on the couch. Woke up early. Went to work. Came home. Isabella was at Valentina's place. I started packing. Not everything. Just my stuff. Clothes. Books. Personal items. My grandfather's watch. Photos from before Isabella. The architect scale my dad gave me when I graduated. I left everything that was ours. The furniture we'd picked together. The dishes. The art. I didn't touch any of it. Wednesday morning, Isabella had a work conference downtown. She'd be gone all day. The movers arrived at 9. It took 4 hours to empty the house of everything that was mine. My desk from the office. My chair. My diplomas off the wall. The gaming console I'd bought. The tools from the garage. Every book on my shelf. The house looked strange after. Empty spaces where I used to exist. I wrote one note. Taped it to the bathroom mirror where she'd see it first thing when she got home. You wanted me invisible. Invisible means gone forever. Enjoy your friends. The attorney will be in touch about the house. Your ghost. I left my key on the kitchen counter. Drove to the extended stay hotel I'd rented. Signed a 6-month lease on an apartment starting next month. And I waited. She called at 6:47 p.m. I didn't answer. She called again at 6:51. Again at 7:03. Then the text started. Isabella, where are you? Isabella, what the hell is this note? Isabella, did you take your stuff? Are you serious right now? Isabella, call me. Isabella, this is insane. You can't just leave. Isabella, we need to talk about this. I turned my phone off. Went to the hotel gym. Ran 5 miles on the treadmill until my legs burned and my head cleared. When I turned my phone back on, there were 32 missed calls, 17 texts, and 1 voicemail. I played it. You asshole. Her voice was shaking. Angry, not sad. You don't just get to disappear because your feelings are hurt. You made a commitment. We're married. You can't just, this is kidnapping. You took community property. I'm calling the police. I almost laughed. Community property. Right. I texted back once. My attorney has an itemized list of everything I took. All personal property. Nothing shared. You'll get your copy soon. Her response was immediate. This is insane. Come home. Now. Me. That's not my home anymore. Isabella. Because of a joke? You're throwing away our marriage because you can't take a joke? Me. A joke is funny. A group decision to erase your husband isn't a joke. It's contempt. Isabella. I never said I had contempt for you. I sent her the screenshots. Every message from the group chat. 3 minutes passed. Then, you went through my iPad? That's private. Me. You left it open. And you're right, it is private. Which is why it's so much worse. This is what you really think. What you all really think. Isabella, you don't understand. It wasn't like that. Me. Then what was it like? No response. I waited an hour. Nothing. So I sent one final text. Invisible means gone forever. You'll have the house to yourself for girls' night. Enjoy. Then I blocked her number. Dante picked me up Thursday for dinner. We went to a sports bar, ordered wings, and pretended to watch the game. She's been calling me, he said. I figured. Wants me to tell her where you're staying. What did you say? That you're an adult, and if you wanted her to know, you'd tell her yourself. Thanks. He wiped his hands on a napkin. She's spiraling. Called Giovanna too. Said you're having some kind of breakdown. I'm not. I know you're not. I told her that. Told her maybe she should look at her own behavior. How'd that go? She hung up on me. I smiled despite myself. Of course she did. Her friends are blowing up social media, by the way. Francesca posted something vague about standing by your girls when toxic men try to isolate them. I shook my head. Unbelievable. They're making you the villain. Let them. Anyone who matters knows the truth. You're really done? No going back. I thought about it. About 6 years of marriage. About the woman I'd loved who'd slowly turned into someone who couldn't stand me. Who'd recruited her friends to help erase me. I'm really done. The divorce papers were served Friday afternoon. Isabella called from Chiara's number. I answered out of curiosity. You served me? At work? She was crying now. Finally. Do you know how humiliating that was? Yeah, I said quietly. I do know. I know exactly how humiliating it feels to be erased in front of people who are supposed to care about you. This is different. This is different how? Because it happened at your job instead of in your home? Because strangers saw instead of just your friends? I never wanted this. You wanted me invisible. You got your wish. I didn't think you'd actually leave. That's the problem, Isabella. You never thought I would. You thought you could treat me however you wanted, and I'd just take it forever because we're married. We took vows. And you broke them. Every time you pretended I didn't exist. Every time you let your friends mock me. Every time you chose them over basic human decency toward your husband. Silence on the line. Then, I'm sorry. Too little. Too late. I don't accept your apology. Sign the papers. Sell the house or buy me out. I don't care which. But we're done. Please. Can't we just talk about this? We tried talking. You told me I was being dramatic. That I was imagining things. That I was the problem. I was wrong. I know you were. Goodbye, Isabella. I hung up. Blocked Kiara's number 2. It's been 3 weeks now. The apartment is small, but it's mine. My stuff fits perfectly. I hung my diplomas yesterday. Set up my drafting table by the window. Dante helped me move the last boxes in last weekend. Giovanna brought lasagna. How are you feeling? She asked. Lighter. Good. You deserve better than what she gave you. I know. The divorce will be final in a few months. Isabella's attorney tried to argue I abandoned the marriage. Mine presented the screenshots, the documented incidents, the pattern of emotional abuse. Her attorney shut up pretty quickly after that. I heard through mutual friends that Isabella and her group had a falling out. Apparently, when real consequences showed up, Francesca and Valentina backed away from the whole situation. Chiara's still around, but cracks are forming. Turns out when you build your friendships on contempt for someone else, the foundation's pretty shaky. I don't feel vindictive about it. I just feel free. Free to exist without someone treating me like I'm in the way. Free to speak without being ignored. Free to be visible. Yesterday, I met a colleague for coffee. She's a structural engineer I've worked with on a few projects. Smart, funny kind. We talked for 2 hours about work, about life, about everything. And she looked at me when I spoke, responded when I asked questions, laughed at my jokes. Basic human decency. It shouldn't feel revolutionary. But after 6 years with Isabella, it does. I'm 40 years old. I thought my life was over when I left. Turns out it was just beginning. Isabella wanted me invisible. She wanted me gone. She got both. And I've never been more visible to myself.